No one wants
Click,
to
click,
click.
click, 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 click.
Clicking's for quitters, and quitters are lame. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Tilted Pod. I'm your host, Seth, don't call me Jack Wilds, and I'm here with Nate the Daywalker Morris. How's it going, man?
What up?
What is up, world? How are we doing, listeners? How are we doing, fam? How are we doing, pigeons? My babies out there. We have so much to talk about, Nate.
What? We have stuff to talk about?
We have so much to talk about. Guys, it's pre-Pro Tour week. Pre-Pro Tour week. Good thing I have a pop filter on there, or this thing will be going like crazy. We had so much stuff happen this last weekend, and so much stuff that's about to happen in Kyoto, Japan, that I think we should just jump right in. Let's start off with a little bit of what you did this week, Nate.
Well, this week I got back to my roots. I built a deck that I'm supremely confident in and modern, and I feel really good about it. I'm going back to Jeskai control.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it sounds terrible. Pretty stock deck. I liked it. I'm kind of in the same boat as a lot of people running 4 main board spell quellers. The card's been pretty good. I mean, there are certain situations the card's just absolutely devastating in.
I'm a fan of spell quelling.
And there's some situations where you play it and you're like, it's just kind of a body, but you know.
Well, I feel like he's a lot better now that there's not so much, lightning bolt running around.
Well, the lack of lightning bolt is good. It's basically just like a Jeskai burn deck, with some cool stuff sprinkled in. It feels good to cast a Sphinx's Rev again.
Yeah, so you're running 4 main deck quellers.
4 main deck
They're
quellers.
not even coming out of the board.
They're not even coming out of the board. It's
so
just
any other
main deck.
spiciness to that deck? You running a Resto Angels or anything like that?
No restos. It's just the 8 creatures. 4 snaps, 4 quellers. The complement of slot. I love 4 cryptic commands. I'm up to 4 on that. The card's just really good. I'm only on the 1 logic knot. I know some people are running 2 to 3. I think 3 is a lot. I've thought about going to 2. The card is just great, but 3 is not where I want to be at. I'm at 25 lands. I'm a land lighter than what I was, when I was playing it before.
How many colonnades?
3 colonnades.
3.
3 colonnades. Push is a real card.
How many revelations are you running?
Just one. Just
Okay,
one revelation.
good,
Yeah,
good.
and then you got your full complement of burn spells. Electrolyze has been real good. I'm not running Remand. I'm running Serum Visions in its place. I think that's done me a lot of good.
Well, if Serum Visions over do they not normally run Serum Visions?
No, most American control decks from before didn't run Serum Visions.
That seems like a fail.
It was a lot more. Well, Serum Visions wasn't good there for a while because mainly all of your lands on turn 1 came into tapped, and so it just wasn't great to fetch shock into a Serum Visions then. It's a little bit better now. It's not so bad,
So why did you switch to this deck? If you guys don't know from our previous episodes, my man here is big time into that prison deck. He loves red-white hate bears. Not hate bears, but red-white prison, sun and moon, whatever. Just something that his boyfriend made up, Todd Stevens. But what made you switch, and why did you choose this? Because you were working on that Sultai list for a while.
Sun and Moon was just it wasn't competitive enough, I think. I mean, I had a lot of success with it. It was a great deck. I could never pull out consistent results with it. And the format's just in a bad spot for it in general. I know Blood Moon's a good card, but the rest of the deck, it felt like I was drawing the wrong half every time.
Right.
And so I just wanted to get off of it for a little bit. I'm still going to play it. It's still my pet deck because I absolutely love it. I went to Sultai. I was playing Sultai Delirium. Just having bad luck with it as well. It felt like when I was playing decks, it felt like I was playing the more powerful cards and losing the matches. I had a lot of testing online with it, and I never seemed to be able to pull off.
Not really your style of deck anyways, though.
It's not. The turning creatures sideways has never been my thing. I love planeswalkers.
Yeah.
I love control, and so now I'm just going back to my roots.
What planeswalkers do you run in this new deck?
So this one's a little different. I'm running 1 Nahiri with no Emrakul. I think that I've just fell in love with her. I'm also running 1 Chandra. Torch of Defiance, and I think that card is just good in grindy situations.
Yeah, great card.
And I have a lot of protection for it. And
another win condition.
Another win condition, because once you ult her, a lightning bolt turns into 8 damage. and it's just kind of hard.
That is math.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard to swing back from that. And then one of Johnny Vengeant. Those are my 3 planeswalkers.
Okay, cool. Removal spells, you just got all the burn and all
the
that.
burn. Yeah, it's all the burn.
4 paths?
4 paths.
Yeah.
I think path is super relevant right now. Grixis, Death Shadow's around, or just all the Death Shadow variants, but especially Grixis. They can't get that recursion with Culligan's Command, and so I just think that's a better card right now.
It seems cool, man. I look forward to seeing how this deck works out for you and watch some testing, and hopefully you'll shoot some videos of it sometime. This week, I participated in the Legacy Challenge. So I sold out of MTGO about 6 months ago, and then when we started this cast up, I decided I'm going to get back into MTGO because I'm going to start recording some videos maybe here and there. Plus, I just miss playing Legacy, and we have some Legacy players in our group, but not enough, not to the point I want. So I've been developing my collection back up slowly but surely, and then this weekend I was like, man, I want to play in this challenge. I've never done it. So I dumped my almost entire collection to be able to get lands. Legacy Lands is a deck I play in paper. I really, really like it. It happened to have a great weekend this weekend too, so it was just in perfect timing. Played the Legacy Challenge, man, and I forgot a couple of things. I forgot like how to play the deck.
That'll happen.
Pretty hard, but I also forgot how much I love playing the deck. So I made some huge errors, but it was coming back to me. It was kind of clicking, and I eventually went 4-3. Ended up 4-3. I moneyed. I top 32'd. I think I got 27th or something like that. My list is on MTG Goldfish. If you look at the challenge, it's under Tilted Pods. We just started a team account, so we'll hopefully, if you see anything popping up from us, hopefully we're doing well. It was so much fun, man. I love Merit Lages. I love Wastelands. I love Ghost Quarter. I love that deck.
You were on Ghost Quarters instead of Ports, right?
I am on Ghost Quarters instead of Ports, and originally that was for money reasons. Even though Ports have come down some, and Explorations or would have skyrocketed in that deck online, I think they're just way too much online. But because I was thinking like without miracles in the format, there's a lot less decks that are running basics. Period, and the Ghost Quarter just seems good. Like I don't mind having the extra Wastelands. There was a few situations I ran into that I was like, man, I wish I had a port here instead. But for the most part, Ghost Quarter was like performing really well. The tricks you can run with Ghost Quarter to protect yourself as well are pretty nice. Like being able to get a basic when you need to is nice. There's only one basic force in the deck, but I really liked all the things I could do with it. And just like I said, just having extra Wastelands against so many decks, against the Delver decks, it's just, you're just not going to play cards. They're not going to play cards. And,
right.
I really liked it. Thing I was running into some trouble with was I lost my Death and Taxes matchup, and I lost to a Leovold deck. I never lost a round that I didn't win game one. In fact, I won game one. Every game I played, I won game one. And then I would have a hard time battling game 2 and 3. When they just brought in so much graveyard hate and being a little rusty with the deck, having to knock off some cobwebs, I definitely wasn't playing optimally around some graveyard hate that I could, and I'm starting to learn those tricks again, and trying to get a little bit better with it. And sideboarding is still a little hard for me with that deck because there's so many ways you can do it. There's a lot of feel to what's going on. But that was what I did, man. 4-3 I didn't think was bad for the first time back with that deck in a while.
I think it's pretty good.
And I played against a lot of Leovold, though. A lot of Leovold decks out there.
So here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Is that the best card in Legacy?
What, Leovold? No, Wasteland.
You think so, Wasteland?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Leovold's pretty close. It hoses a lot of cool tricks Legacy can do. I mean, when you think of Legacy, you think of 2 cards, right? Like, or when I think of Legacy, I think of 2 cards. I think of Brainstorm and Force of Will.
Yeah, I was going to say, even before Leovold, I would have to... Are you saying best creature in Legacy? Then maybe Leovold is up there. But then you also have to think about Deathrite Shaman. Hard to argue with that. And then I definitely see what you're saying, though. He's really good. He's definitely really changing the format.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier in that he's even good against elves.
Oh my gosh. I was like just practicing elves on like a different thing, like X Mage, and it was crazy because they played a Leovold, and I was trying to go off through Glimpse, and I was like, what is happening? Why am I not drawing any cards? And I thought it was a bug, and they were like, yeah, I have a Leovold out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Yeah, he's definitely good.
He's
man.
a hose.
He definitely hoses some things. And in lands, it's rough targeting all these things with them. But I run a main board Karakas, so sometimes I bounce them, then wasteland their green source, and most of the times they don't have another one.
Yeah.
But I mean, Deathrite Shaman is the real problem a lot of times, and I don't know. I will say this: it was a blast. I'm definitely going to be recording more videos. I plan on playing every Legacy challenge I'm available for. Mm-hmm. I would like to become very good with the deck again.
Yeah.
I was once pretty good with it. I was okay, and then I switched to Eldrazi for a long time because I was tired of playing the Lands versus Miracles matchup. Mm-hmm. And now that Miracles is out of the format, and I can just play these Lands versus Lands matchups or Lands versus Delvers, I'm pretty into it. I really want to practice a lot and get good, and hopefully have something to offer the community in ways of playing it. But that was our week. We had that cool podcast, that 3.5 episode that came out. We were talking about the refurbished God Pharaoh's gift deck. I played a little bit with that over the weekend. I was able to pick that up for like 80 ticks. And the deck is real. The deck is the truth. And when we get down to our Pro Tour breakdown, I bet we can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But right now, let's bring in with some news. News. All right, Nate. Here's with the news. Now, this is a little old hash point, so we won't talk about it too much. But the F&M promos, man, they're gone. And I know you are a person who collects F&M promos. Mm-hmm. That stinks for you, man. There's no more. Well, there are promos now, but instead of being cards, like some sort of uncommon they want to throw us, we're getting double-sided foil tokens.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not by month anymore. It's by season.
Yeah. Which could be cool.
It's cool, except for I think, if you're out there listening and you're a person who plays a lot of foil decks like myself and you like to trick your decks out in multiple different ways, you like to play cards that aren't normally seen. And when I was playing Sun and Moon, the token I went after first was the unglued zombie tokens. I thought those were super dope. I really wanted to have some.
Yeah,
went out and got 9 of them. You know what I mean? A lot of people compliment me on them because this card you don't see very often. So I think with this double-sided zombie token, we're going to see a major influx, or not zombie token, just token in general.
Yeah.
But we're going to see a lot of influx of these tokens out there just being played all over. And from a collector standpoint, I'm not into it.
Yeah, you're going to get them. I mean, if they're going to be around for a whole season, there's going to be plenty of them around.
Yeah.
And I think their idea, what they said is, I know everyone's probably heard this, but we'll just put our 2 cents in. The idea with this is that they want F&M to not be a competitive format. They thought it was becoming too spiky by offering a prize that sometimes people didn't even want. I mean, of course, we've gotten the cool ones like Fatal Pushes coming up. But by offering like a premium reward, they thought it was taking away from the casual players. I think that's kind of wrong. But
see, and this is something I'm going to tilt off a little bit about.
All right.
I'm going to tilt on this one. And that if you're making a F&M that's for non-competitive people to go to, it's kind of like a funsy event. A lot of people have dedicated that night of their life to F&M for so long that's what they want to do. They want to go have a competitive tournament. Yeah. When I go to F&M, I expect to play against decks that are tier 1 through 3 that I'm going to see in real tournaments against people who also want to do well and also want to win. And now I'm going to go to F&M because that's the time I've blocked off in my life and play against these weird fringe decks that people just kind of want to have fun with, or people want to come and hang out and kind of do not magic stuff and
drugs.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, if someone lays out a line of coke, you know what I mean?
Hopefully that is not happening at your F&M.
Well, if that's happening at your F&M, you need to call the police. But it's just one of those things like, I want the game to be competitive enough to where you still want to go. And I'm not saying that I don't agree with the decision slightly. I think that F&M needs to be an inclusive place where people can come, have fun,
with that 100%.
and learn the game. game.
But they should learn by playing people that are good. I mean, they should be.
And there's a huge difference between someone coming and missing a trigger, and we talk about it, and it's like, yeah, take your trigger. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's
learn
fine.
that for tournaments. You know, I think there's a lot of people out there that do that.
It doesn't have to be competitive REL.
Yeah.
But can it at least be like, I don't know. It doesn't need to be slack-jawed, you know.
Yeah, and so now when you're offering less incentive to win, why are the competitive players going to go? And so let me go off on the other side of it too, just to cover the full spectrum. And so now we have Saturday and Sunday tournaments.
So that's what they're replacing with the actual competitive side.
Yes.
It's called a Saturday Showdown or a Standard Showdown.
Yeah.
And those are going to be on Saturdays?
Yes, Saturdays and Sundays. I think Sundays in there sprinkled in. But those are standard exclusive events. So now you're not even going to get to practice in the other formats that you want to play in.
Right.
I'm a huge modern player.
And our F&Ms are almost exclusively
Strictly modern, yeah.
modern.
And I'm a huge modern player. I like draft. I'm starting to get into draft more. I'm starting to get into sealed more. Standard's kind of on my back burner just because we're coming off of such a terrible standard for so long.
Right.
I'm getting back into it. I'm really starting to invest in a control deck, you know. But now my competitiveness is going to be 100% standard on on my weekend. That's, you know, right in the middle.
And another thing going on that is that competitive players already want to, like grinders, real grinders. If we're going to go play tournaments, they're on weekends, like big tournaments, opens, GPs, all that. So we can't even play the local shop. And sometimes the Friday night is a nice practice or precursor to warm up for that Saturday tournament we're going to drive 2 hours to in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, we like to go on Friday, have a couple good rounds, and then, you know, get up at 6 in the morning and hit Newcomers Town or wherever you're going to play in a IQ or a GP.
And so I think that's also like, I just built a new sideboard. I want to test it out against some decks. We'll go play a couple rounds of F&M, then we'll dip out and drive up to, you know, Columbus or wherever. And so I think that this has changed. I think it's changed too much too fast. I don't mind that they're doing a Saturday or Sunday showdown. I don't know what time.
I don't mind
shops
more
are
Magic.
going to do it. I don't
even know if our shop will do it. Now I'm under the understanding that your shops are required to do this now.
Yes.
Because they're going to be, what do you win? You win a premium rare or mythic. You win some, maybe now the F&M promos are going to be a more premium like foil version, or I don't know if it's going to be alternate art or something. They're going to be a rare or mythic though, instead of an uncommon or common. Or you can win a foil full art land.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of full art lands they're giving you, but I feel like they're kind of beating a horse with these full art lands.
Yeah.
I'm ready to stop playing full art lands.
Yeah, I think we're on the same boat with the land thing too, is that there are just so many full art lands out there that you see.
And I love lands.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of getting
lands.
tired of it. They're doing so many of them.
And then Battle for Zendikar came out, and it was just like a land frenzy.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been so bad with Armacat and Hour of Devastation because they're not in every pack, so they're a little more rare. But the
foils look great of those too, but it's still like
everybody has them.
Yeah, I mean it's full. I mean, you know, I don't know. There's just so many full art lands, and I actually collect lands. I love the A pack. I love all of them. You know, it's always been a thing when I go to a tournament in a different town. I try to buy one new land that I'll remember. You know, like oh yeah, I got this here. You know, so I know it's kind of cheesy or dumb, but I really like the land art. And I just think they're kind of beating a dead horse, a zombie horse, that, you know, with these full art lands. So these foil premium full art lands, maybe they'll be really cool, and I'll be eating my words later, and I'll be like, God, I can't wait to get all of these. But for the most part, I feel like it's just, come on.
I agree.
So that is your news. I'm sure some other stuff happened, but nothing we really care to talk about, because what we care to talk about on this podcast and what you came here for is us to break down some deck lists. And we got so many to talk about, Nate. We have so many.
Just so much happened.
We have so much to talk about.
In every format. It's great.
It is great. We're going to start off with GP Kyoto. Kyoto's in Japan, for those of you who don't know that.
Buy a map.
Just check it out. Spin a glove. I didn't know where. I'm just kidding. GP Toast. It was limited. And I want to say, we're not going to go into this one too much because it is limited. And it's really hard to talk about limited unless you are limited resources. Unless you're Marshall and LSV.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to talk about the deck list. But we will let you know who won, and that was William Huey Jensen,
Do
the
some
man,
shout-outs.
the myth, little BA right there. This dude is tight. I like this guy. I love listening to him commentate. He's just like a stoic man. But
And he had kind of a hard path to get to the finals too. I mean, he had to go through.
That top 8 was stacked.
Yeah, the top 8 was stacked. In case you didn't know, there's a lot of really great players in the top 8.
Here's who was in that top 8 that are just like off the top: Huey Jensen, Martin Mueller, John Finkel, Pascal Maynard, and bunch of people that I can't pronounce their names very well, but I think they're good too. Obviously, they are. They're in the top 8 limited.
Yeah, I mean, so you have these 4 amazing players in the top 8 battling through each other just to get,
Man, I hope they didn't use up all their luck and skill for the Pro Tour coming up. But man, the natural John Finkel, and let's say this: congratulations also to Huey, because I'm pretty sure he's pretty much clinched platinum.
It's got to be close.
He ended up playing. Yeah, I bet after the Pro Tour points that you automatically get.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have to do very well at all at the Pro Tour, and he'll be at platinum, which is congratulations for that. And Martin Mueller went 13-0 in Swiss. He did clinch platinum, so he's officially platinum. And I even think he had kind of a bad start to the season. Martin Mueller was on red white. Jensen was on black green. But like I said, there's also Finkel and Maynard in this. I mean, just what a crazy top 8.
Yeah.
What a bunch of class act players.
Yeah.
Bunch of people from Channel Fireball.
Yes.
And then Mueller's on Genesis.
He is on Genesis.
Team Genesis. Huey is on, what team is that?
Puzzle Quest?
Yeah, Puzzle Quest, because he's always tweeting about that. Huey, I know it's your job and it's your sponsor, but you got to be a little bit better. I feel like you're giving some pretty lame Puzzle Quest tweets. It's just like, it's like a generic post. It's not even like a try to sell me on it. He doesn't put any emotion into it. Just like, well, I have to do this. Click my generic post saving. Yeah, all right, Puzzle Quest.
You
we get
leave
it.
Huey Jensen
I'm
alone.
leaving him alone. I think
alone.
he's awesome. I just think he could give a little bit more flair to his Puzzle Quest
Huey,
post.
if you're listening to this, tweet at us. Tell us about Puzzle Quest.
Yeah, if you ever listen to this, that'll be amazing. But I don't think he's going to catch it.
Well, he might.
You never know. The internet's a wild place.
Yep.
But
let's
they're
move on.
prepping hard. Yeah, we're moving. So that was GP Kyoto. Again, congratulations to all those competitors. I can't wait to see you at the Pro Tour.
Yep.
But now it's time to talk about formats we can break down decks. We're going to start out with Team Trio, because we got a lot of decks we can talk about here. All right, for this format, though, we're going to kind of break down the teams, and we're going to talk about what each one played and maybe some matches we saw, but we won't dive too deep into each deck, because you don't really know how people did based on the fact that it's a team event.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Do you know who won the team event?
Oh, whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
Let me tell you who won. Listeners, if you're out there wondering why I'm asking Seth who won, let me tell you why. Because Todd Stevens is amazing. So the dapper Todd Stevens and the Bayou Boys, congrats on your big victory. Number 1, Todd Stevens, you're amazing.
Well, I'll tell you this. His 2 teammates are 2 of my favorite players. So.
Yeah, that's also true. But we'll get into that a little later.
I'll have to give them all credits. So.
Yeah.
So Tom Ross takes it down with, Dapper Todd and the Bayou Boys, or whatever they were calling themselves. Take it down with Tom Ross playing standard. He's playing a mono red list. This mono red aggro list is definitely a Tom Ross special. He's playing 4 built to smash. I mean, he's just straight to the face. 1-drops, the best 1-drops he could fit in there. I'm telling you what is awesome is this. If I was going to play a red list, this is the one I'd want to play.
This is it, yeah.
All these deserts are really helping out mono red, and I think it gives it this cool new feel. And it's got Earthshaker Kenra. And I'm telling you, this card was the truth. When it came out, this gave mono red legs. I don't know what it is about all these things that give you these falter effects where something can't block, but playing against it is so frustrating because you're like, God, all right, I'm about to stabilize, and then just boom, that can't block. Boom, that can't block. Oh, built to smash me. Oh, braid my guy. Oh, it's just, it's awful. It's awful.
I really like the singleton Carry Zev. I mean, I think that's
Gary Zev's great.
a great card. I mean,
The one of Hazaret for a little top end plus the 2 Chandras. It is playing 23 lands too, because a lot of these, he's got the black red lands, which I'm actually not really sure what those are there for. Am I missing something? What are the black red lands there for?
Were the black red lands there for?
Yeah. There's 3 foreboding ruins, and I'm not really sure why they are there. If anyone knows, I'm dumb. Scrap heap scrounger. There they are. Okay, never mind. That was a brain fart. Yeah, that's so you can recur scrap heap scrounger, which makes a lot of sense. You want that.
Pretty important.
Yeah, on crop crasher. I mean, everyone, if you've been playing on Magic Online, you've played against a deck very similar to this. It's just smashing people's face. One of my favorite things about this deck, though, he's got 3 blazing volleys in the sideboard. Yeah, so you make a whole bunch of those tokens with your monument, and I'm just going to blazing volley your homies down. Plus, it kills a lot in the mirror match. Really cool deck. Congratulations, Tom Ross. His modern player, why don't you tell us what Todd was on?
Todd was on a really cool deck that we talked about when the card first was spoiled. And he's on Green White Company. And I think we even said at the time that this should go in Todd Stevens' deck right away. So the Green White Company deck is pretty much Green White good stuff. The only card that he has put into the deck since Hour of Devastation is the Runanap Excavator, which is a Crucible on a stick. And so he's no longer running the Crucible Worlds. He's running two of these creatures in the main board, one in the sideboard. It's a 3-drop, 1 green, 2 generic. You may play land cards from your graveyard. I think it's a really cool deck with a lot of synergy in what he wants to do. He wants to kind of ghost quarter people out of the game, which I think is a nice concept. He's got 2 Azuzas to help him out, 2 Ruminaps. I mean, the deck's just good. Not to mention he's got
Tireless Tracker with the Azusa mixed with the Runamap Excavator. Yep. Let's just call that thing Naga Landmaker.
Naga Landmaker.
Desert Graveyard Landmaker. No, that's even harder.
And he's got Night of the Reliquary. I mean, he's just got so much good
Courser,
stuff.
Crew Fix. He's playing a lot of dorks. Yeah, Night of the Reliquary grabs whatever he wants.
And then he brings it back with the creature on the board. He can just play it. I mean, it's just so good.
Yeah, where are the Goyfs?
What Goyfs?
Did you take out Goyfs? There's no Goyfs in this deck now. Yep. Oh, cool. I'm going to make this deck. I don't want to have to move my Goyfs around. Yeah, sweet. So there's no Goyfs in this, which he used to have in the deck.
He used to have them.
So he's upped his Azusa count by 1 and then added the random maps. And I don't know if he played the Tireless Tracker main before, but
I don't think the Tireless Tracker was main before, but it's definitely main now. And I think that he was even on less of the coursers. I think that he was on 3 maybe, so he might have gone up a courser as well from an older list I remember.
So coolest thing in the sideboard is definitely Whisperwood Elemental. I love that card.
And that's been his deck tech for a while now. And it's just spicy every time you see it. He's also got a Aven Mind Sensor hanging out on the sideboard. I like that too.
Really, really just awesome. Also, I mean, I love this deck. I can't, I'm not obsessed with them like you are, but I definitely love this deck. So, awesome job. Now let's get to the legacy portion of their team. Where are you at?
Jody Keith.
All right, I've got a cool little story about Jody Keith. One of my good friends and Magic partners, his name is Gabriel Bibbs. We were at GP Jersey together. It was my first big legacy GP. And it was packed. It was so crazy. And we were there a day early. And we were playing in like a last chance thing for buys. And I had already finished mine. And I walked up to watch Bibbs play. And he was playing Jody Keith. And he was playing lands versus elves. And I had never seen lands before. And I'm just watching the craziest stuff happen I've ever seen. I was like, what? You're just playing lands, but you're just crushing them. It's just... it's insane. How are you doing this? And that right then and there is when I sold my entire Modern collection, kind of similar to what I did with my online collection. I sold it right there, went to Troll and Toad or somewhere, got ripped off, but I got my Tabernacle and I got the rest of the land. I built it in one spot. I mean, I had to play it. and I've been playing it since. He was such a nice guy. He explained what was going on. He was laughing with us, having a good time. I mean, he was crushing my friends. It's got a pretty good L's matchup already, and he was just making Bibbs look bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bibbs. But Bibbs will remember. And he was so cool, man. He was so nice, and I always liked him since then. I'll see him at tournaments, and I'll just kind of wave and be like, "You don't remember me, but you inspired me. You inspired." And good for him, man. He did really well at this last GP in GP Vegas, and Dapper, the Bayou boys came smashing. He is playing. He is on. He is also on the He's on the Ghost Quarters.
Ports. No ports.
Yeah, and he's got. I mean, it's pretty. He's playing a cool thing. He's playing 2 surgical extractions for the matchup for the mirror, and he's also playing a Crucible of the Worlds, which helps with the mirror. The only thing I do not have for this deck in paper, and I really regret not buying it whenever Jarvis, you was talking about these not long ago, were Drops of Honey. I had 2 in my cart for $70, and now they're like $500. Yeah. So I don't know when I'll be getting Drop of Honey, and I think it is a pretty good, it's periphery nodes for Legacy. It's a green periphery nodes, basically. He also is the one who, I don't know if he came up with this, but he's definitely been a proponent of it for the Ancient Tomb main, which makes a lot of trick plays on your Dark Depths. And I said a turbo. Last week, I think I said a turbo, like a turbo Depths deck would make it. I did call it Depths deck, though, and we had a lot of lands in this top 8. But yeah, it looks like, no turbo deck. I will say a turbo dex was playing Reanimator. Vampire Hexmage Dark Depths Reanimator was playing for a win in just the last round. It just missed it barely. But we've talked about land some. Man, it's awesome. And I promise you we're going to be getting more and more lands, hopefully videos, and I hope to talk about it more because Legacy, all of a sudden, I mean, the price spikes are real, and it seems like Legacy is a real thing again. Like, it's going to be on the Pro Tour, guys.
Let's make Legacy great again.
It's going to be on the Pro Tours. It's just going to be awesome, man. So I hope you guys are playing it, and this is a great deck if you have a chance to play it. Or just play any Legacy that you can. It's really fun. All right, so who did they beat in the finals?
They actually had a pretty hard finals. I know that there was a lot of awkward matchups. Let's just start with Legacy. Jody Keith had to play Kevin King in a lands versus lands matchup.
Yep.
And I think that game in particular would be very skill intensive. And I think by even misplaying a little bit, you've really given up your position. And I think that game's all about jockeying for position. So it's probably just harder to get by. I can't imagine playing that round after round, though. So that's got to be a little bit of a bummer. But Modern, Todd Stevens played against Grixis Death Shadow. Dan Jessup.
Which I thought Grixis Death Shadow was a little bit out of it. I mean, but in this team event, I think that you're looking at just consistently good decks. That's why something's so much different, because I don't think it would be necessarily... I think that the format has changed, and Grixis Death Shadow isn't like... it's one of the best decks, but I don't think it's like the end all, like we need to ban it. It's more like people know how to play against it now. We know what's up. And
it's getting there. I mean, Dan Jessup had pretty much a stock list. Nothing too crazy. He does have one sleight of hand in there. I mean, that's kind of been the no one knows what to play in that 60 card spot. It's either bolt, like the Singleton bolt, or
he's got one sleight of hand in there.
Yeah,
really?
Just one sleight of hand.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Is he playing what's the one called? The Lake Lane, or the split card from?
He is not playing that.
No, that card's pretty cool.
No, but he is down to 2 Ceremonious Rejections in the sideboard. I don't think that's quite great. But it's okay. I mean, he's got the 4 Stubborn Denial and everything in there. Standard was another mirror match, I believe.
Mono red. What are the differences in their decks?
Who was on it? Jim Davis was on the mono red deck. Jim Davis had a lot. It's actually quite a bit different. He was on 2 Carry Zevs, so everybody was on that. He was also on 2 Hazarets, so his top end was a little heavier, not quite as fast. He only had 1 Abrade. Now, I'm not sure that 1's the right number in that deck. I think 3's probably where you want to be at. and through testing and everything, I'm sure he had good reasons to have only one abrade, but he does have 4 shocks, and that was his spell package with 4 incendiary flows. He's also running the Earthshakers and the Gorgers. His sideboard is a little more heavier, I guess. He has he has one more Chandra in the side, and he also has the 2 abrades in the side, 2 Glory Bringers in the side. So I think that for being a mono red deck, Jim Davis is really prepared to go up against the more mid-range and control decks. And I think that I didn't get to watch this finals, but if I had to guess, I think that Tom Ross probably just went underneath him a little faster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it is.
All right. So what team ended up in 3rd and 4th?
Let's start with Modern, because I think it's something we can kind of skip over a little more. Evan Smith was on the Grixis Death Shadow deck. And I think that Grixis Death Shadow, with 4 copies in the top 8, it just had to be the most consistent deck there was.
4 copies of Grixis Death Shadow in the top 8?
Yeah, and so, I mean, you just got to know that it's probably the best deck in Modern. I mean, because that's just...
Well, and I mean, that's hard to say because, again, we got to remember, this is a team event. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's just so good though. When it's clicking on all cylinders, you think that it's just the best. Over to Legacy though, his teammate Victor Logan was on a pretty dope Grixis Delver deck. I really like the makeup of this deck. Grixis isn't my first choice of color combinations, and even I'm like, this is a pretty cool deck.
I mean, this is kind of the go-to Delver deck at this point. His thing is, like, at this point, I feel like you're either playing Stifle or Cabal Therapy.
Yeah.
And he's playing Cabal Therapy, which, you know, that's a choice. It
is what it is.
I don't know what else to pick. He's got cool Sulfur Elemental in the sideboard for those Death and Taxes decks. He's playing a Jit in the sideboard. Everybody's packing those Surgicals. Weird deck. He's playing Fire Covenant, and this is a card I had heard some rumblings of. This is a card from Ice Age. Fire Covenant is a colorless, a black and a red. Fire Covenant deals X damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is equal to the amount of life you pay. Effects that could prevent or redirect cannot be used to counter this loss of life. So it's pretty cool. Kind of just clear a board. You pay life and deal a bunch of things. It's like almost like Toxic Deluge, but without a minus effect.
Yeah.
And I hate it because so many people are, packing for lands these days, because there's 3 lands in the top 8 as well. But Diabolic Edict has been in the sideboard of everything.
Yeah.
He's only running 1 True Name, 3 Young Pyromancers, the 18 lands. Yeah, I mean, it's Grixis Delver. It's a great deck.
Standard, though, Lucas Parson rounded out their team. He was on the Timur Energy deck in Standard. It's pretty cool.
What do you think about that?
I think this deck's interesting. I know that the Energy deck was super good with Marvel Waferworks, and everybody thought it was still going to be a deck afterwards. There's just so much synergy in the Energy. You're just trying to cheat out Elder Deep Fiend or putting out Glorybringer. It's got a bunch of cool cards that do cool things. Whirler Virtuoso, Tireless Tracker. He does have a split in the Chandras, 1 Flamecaller, 2 Torch of Defiance. That seems good. I'm not sure of those 2. I'm not sure Chandra Flamecaller is the best choice. It's just a little heavy on the 6 drop.
It clears the board, though. But
it does clear the board.
With all these red decks that are running underneath you, it might be a little bit of a problem.
I think having it in your opener is probably just a big old sigh.
Yeah.
As they play Mountain.
I want to talk about the next team, though, since we made it through them. Okay. In 4th place, the Standard deck in 4th place was Green Red Ramp, piloted by Andrew Hollingsworth. I think Ramp is like a legit deck nowadays. It's for sure good again. Almost solely because of Hour of Promise, which lets you search for any 2 lands. Yeah, not basics. Any 2 lands, put them in the battlefield tapped for 5 mana. If you have 3 deserts, you get to put 2 black zombies into the battlefield. So it's ramp plus protection, because at that point you might be, and you really go in Turn 3, you do the Natural Connection or Beneath the Sands, which is like a 3-mana Farseek, or not really Farseek, but whatever it's called. But search for a basic land, put it in the battlefield tapped.
Yep.
And then at 5, the next turn, you do the the Hour of Promise. You've got Hour of Devastation, which is just a blowout.
Devastating
Yeah,
blowout.
it's so great. And then you've got to be playing, if you're doing all that, you're playing your Sanctum of Ugin, so you can go find your other big fatties, and you're playing Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. So whenever you use your Hour of Promise, grab 2 of the shrines, you're already up at like 10 mana on the next turn. You start casting Ulamogs on like turn 5 or 6. It's awesome. He's got Thought-Knot Seers in the sideboard. He's running Kozilek Returns, 4 Braids. Everything else is just ramp and good stuff. Walking Ballistas to clear the board of early people and put up blockers. So many board wipes. Crumble the Dust in the sideboard for the mirror match. Whole bunch of Tireless Trackers whenever it feels like it's going to get, grindy. I think this deck looks really fun. You're doing one thing and you're doing it really well.
Yeah. And I think that's something important in Standard right now, just being able to do what you're doing well and staying to that plan.
He was playing with Kevin Toulon. Kevin Nealon? That would be cool if Kevin Nealon played Magic. Kevin Toulon was playing Burn. This is red-white. This is just straight red-white. It's a 4 of everything.
Yeah. It's a pretty stock burn list in today's world.
Yeah.
A lot of people have cut the green.
Yeah,
gone strictly red-white. Although he does have the Tarkus commands in his sideboard. There's only 2, though.
He does. He's got 2. This is a very, very stock list.
Yeah.
But Burn is Burn, man. We know Burn is good.
And everybody's lost to it.
Everybody has lost a Burn.
And then Dan Savage was on Sneak and Show.
Dan Savage. Now, I want to see if this is the Sneak and Show I like. Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, okay, guys. This is the Sneak and Show I've been trying to talk my friends into playing. This is the 3 Omniscience Sneak and Show. Just the 3 of all your fatties. 3 Emrakuls, 3 Grizzlebrands, 3 Omniscience. 3 Sneak Attacks, 3 Lotus Petals, 3 Cunning Wish. So many, 3 Preordains. It's just the 3 of deck. 3 Volcanic Islands, 3 Polluted Deltas, 3 Ancient Tombs, 3 Islands. I don't know what it is, but if you're ever obsessed with a number and you're obsessed with 3s, this is the deck for you. The cool thing about this deck is it's got so many ways to find what you need. It's got the Release the Ants combo in the sideboard. So when you Cunning Wish for Intuition, get your 3 Omniscience, cast your Show and Tell, put in your Omniscience, then you grab whatever you want to do. If you get Emrakul, you put it on the top of your deck and start playing Release the Ants, Class Form, kill them. It's awesome. If you're gonna play this deck, I think the 3 Omniscience, the 3 of copy is version is the best. You should definitely check out this list for yourself. And Dan Savage, I commend you on an awesome list. What do we got in 5th?
Let's just go over some cool decks. We've gone over a lot of teams.
We have gone over teams. Let's at least name the teams who made it in top 8. So let's go. The next team is in 5th. We got Tan and Grace on Grixis Delver, Harlem Fear on Jeskai Control, and that's a deck I figured you would want to talk about. And Kevin Jones, the daddy, on Esper Aggro. That's a cool team. Really like that team. They did an interview the first day.
Yep.
In 6th place, you had Tyler Wilkinson on Mono Red, Kendall Burdett on Grixis Death Shadow, and Alex Hahn on Jeskai Stoneblade. This is the only Stoneblade variant in the top 8. In 7th place, Mardu Vehicles with Zachary Plott. I'm glad to see Mardu Vehicles is still doing
Stuff.
something.
Yeah.
Who was their second player? Burn, Manny Calazo.
Yep.
Another Burn list. Again, Burn will beat you. And Mike Warren with Grixis Delver. And then the very last, another very competent lands player, David Long. He's very good. He's actually got a kind of cool lands list. I just want to bring up one thing about it. He was with Zan Syed, who we just know did really well at the first Open. Mm-hmm. And Zan was still on the 4-color Emerge. Congratulations to him. And then Rob Long was on Grixis Death Shadow. And just a real quick note about his version of lands, David Long's, is he's playing Burning Wish. So there's 2 decks that are using their sideboard, Burning Wish kind of just makes Life from the Loam like 4 through 7 because it just gives you 3 extra copies, and then you can only play 3 in the main deck. But this is a really cool list. I'd be interested in trying it sometime to see how that Burning Wish, if you don't know, you can choose a sorcery card from outside the game, reveal it, and put that card in your hand. And then you exile Burning Wish. So it just like helps you, it just gives you more copies of a lot of things that you might need. Really cool. That was the top 8. What kind of list did you want to talk about? I figured you'd want to talk about that Harlem Fury list just a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the deck that I've been really trying to work on. He's on the 3 Logic Knots. I'm not sure that that's where you want to be at, but he does have the 3 Ceremonious Rejections in the sideboard.
Yeah.
And let me just say something about this card. It is amazing.
Ceremonious Rejections?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. But what makes me laugh, though, is that this deck is already really good against Affinity. I mean, I'm probably more for Tron.
It's more for Tron. It shores up the Tron matchup.
It's funny, like, I think Affinity was doing so well because these type of decks were so gone, like Snapcaster, Electrolyze, Bolt decks.
Yeah.
And now Affinity is just going to get if this starts becoming popular again, Affinity is just going to get run over by these decks.
Yeah.
That every time Affinity's doing bad, it's because the Jeskai decks are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Electrolyze is such a blowout against Affinity.
For a lot of people, yeah. But that's not the deck I want to talk about. I want to talk about the 9th place deck in Modern. Brent Clift. Grats on you taking Elves to 9th place.
Nice, buddy.
And this is not just the normal Elves deck. I really like this deck. This is the Devoted Druid deck. And so I really appreciate seeing that combo do well in Modern.
But he's only playing 1 Vizier of Remedies, which I like. So he's still the Elves beat down with Azuri, a full 4 of Azuri. He just made a few cuts. So like he made some 1-of cuts of Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elves, and Nettle Sentinel, which is like the old kind of combo to make room for O2 that can tap for 2 mana, which is probably better anyways.
Right.
And then he has a Vizier if he just chords for it, hits it, and it's all over from there.
Yeah, or he can, even if he sees it in a Coco, he can get, that and something else. I mean, there's lots of way for him to play it.
His Westvale Abbey in the land slot is really sweet too, because you make a lot of elves. So
yeah, this deck is just sweet. I really like this deck. By the elves going more of this green-white version, it really opened up his sideboard a lot, which I think is what elves needed. In particular, the Burrington Forge Tender, I think, is a great addition to the Elves sideboard. I mean, the worst card Elves can see, honestly, has got to be Anger the Gods on turn 3. It just has to be brutal. But he also gets Selfless Spirit, 2 Rest in Peace, 3 Path to Exile, an Eidolon of Rhetoric, a Kataki War Mage, an Aven Mind Sensor. The whole sideboard is just white, which is what I think Elves really needed.
Right.
Like, it really needed something to protect itself because its game one matchups is probably so good. And then once it hits sideboard, everybody just crushes, It turns into a board wipe, devastating, people know what you're on type thing.
Yeah. Here's a cool list in 26th place for the Modern. Jeskai Geist. Have not seen a Geist strategy be very good in a while. And again, who knows if this guy won that many games or if he just got, his teammates.
Carried.
Yeah, but this is a 4 of Geist to St. Traff, Spell Queller, Snapcaster Mage, Resto Angel, Ventilion Click, Electrolyze. I mean, definitely ready to kill some people with some angels. It's a cool list. I like it. It looks fun. I like Geist. Everybody likes casting Geist. For Standard, there was a lot of blue-red control, a lot of mono-red. And there wasn't a ton of blue-white monument that had done well. It was kind of like in the 16 down. In Legacy, you've got in 10th place, the one I kind of called Jund Depths. It just barely made it. Reanimator Depths also. Lots of Grixis Delver. Yeah, lots of Grixis Delver and people making Merit Lage because Merit Lage is the best.
A second Jeskai Stoneblade deck, though.
Yeah, there's a few Jeskai in the top 32. There's also a mono red prison deck in here, which is pretty cool. This is the Goblin Rabble Master. He's running a Hazaret, which is kind of fun. This is just Chrome Moxes, Ensnaring Bridges, Trinispheres, Blood Moons. This seems like a deck that Nate would love to play in Legacy. Fiery Confluence, which is from a commander set. It's choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Costs 2 and 2 red pips. Fiery Confluence deals 1 damage to each creature, so that's up to 3, obviously. Fiery Confluence deals 2 damage to each opponent, so that's a 6 mana burn spell. Or destroy target artifact, kill 3 artifacts. Pretty sweet. That's a really nice one. Nothing else too crazy. Death and Taxes, Colorless Eldrazi, which is a great deck too, but it didn't really have a great showing, which I thought would be more popular for those people who like didn't have a Legacy player and they're like, okay, what's the best deck? That like, what do I have most of this stuff for? And Colorless Eldrazi is usually one that you could kind of round up. A lot of people played it in Modern and kind of ported it over to Legacy after a little while.
Yeah. But I think that was pretty much it for the team event.
That's the team trio. I will say this. I haven't got to play one yet. I want to so bad. It looks so fun. Congratulations to all the winners there. But now it's time to get on those individuals in the classics. I think let's let the standard lead into our Pro Tour talk since standard will be last. Let's go ahead and start off with Legacy. Legacy, and then we'll move on to Modern, and then Standard will take us right into the Pro Tour talk.
Okay.
All right, so Legacy. Coming in number 1 with Infect. It's different. Haven't seen that in a while. What's this guy's name? Zachary Koch?
Zachary Koch.
Koch. Infect, guys. Infect is dope. It's not dead in all formats. It's still very much a thing in Legacy. Do you know why in Legacy it's such a thing? Because of this little card called Invigorate that was reprinted in Eternal Masters. But if you control forests, rather than pay the cost, you may have your opponent gain 3 life and target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. You know why Infect doesn't care about them gaining 3 life? Because they're not going to care about the life at all.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. There's 1 Become a Mince in here. Oh, yeah, you pair that bad boy up with the Berserk, which I think also got reprinted in Conspiracy. Man, I have an old Berserk, and it stinks because it lost all its value. Cast Berserk only before the combat damage step, and target creature gains trample and gets +X/+O, where X is its power at the beginning of the next end step. You have to destroy that creature. Doesn't matter because you're already dead.
I like this deck a lot. I mean, he's not running the full sets of everything, which I like. That Green Sun Zenith as a 1-of is spicy.
Yeah.
I really like that. I mean, it's
There's a lot of
constantly
weird
getting
one-ofs
creatures
in here, like 1 crop rotation, which makes sense because you're going to try to get your Ink Moth Nexuses and just kill them out of nowhere.
Yeah, and the 1 Become Immense. Just a lot of 1-ofs. I mean, it's still a good deck. I think Infect's really fun.
This was the old Tom Ross special. He does not have 1... Tom Ross used to like to run 1 Stifle, though.
Yeah.
No Stifle in this one.
And I think that's probably like the Spell Pierce he's running or Flusterstorm. It's got to be in one of those spots.
Yeah, which Flusterstorm is really good.
But Zachary, congrats to you piloting this deck. I'm sure it wasn't easy in the field of Grixis and stuff that just kills you.
No.
But yeah, it was a good deck.
Followed by...
a weird Sultai Death Shadow.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to talk about this one. I'm glad
he did well. I mean... But you got to think, and for everybody's like listening at home, it can't be much different than Modern. It's way different, and I think it's just so much better.
It's way different, but guess what? You get to play 2 Watery Graves. So you only need 1 Tropical Island and 2 Underground Seas. Yeah, and Underground Seas just went to 500. That sucks, but...
you could even get away with probably 1 Underground Sea. Deck's just so good.
You could probably get away with none.
Yeah, you could probably get away with none.
Yeah, so the creatures, Death Shadow, Deathrite Shaman, Delver's Secrets, Gurmag Angler, some of the heavy hitter best creatures of all time right there. Obviously, we've got 4 Brainstorms, 4 Dazes. But so you're like, how does he lose so much life? How does he get there? 4 Gitaxian Probes. Remember when that was still Modern legal? 2 Dismembers, which is a great removal spell in Legacy. The 2 Watery Graves mixed with a lot of fetches. 4 Thoughtseizes, which doesn't see enough Legacy play, honestly. It's a great card. I don't have to tell everyone else that.
And one of my favorite cards, Snuff Out.
Snuff Out is the real secret here, though.
Real deal. And that's if you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life rather than paying Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated.
So it's like a Doomblade, but for free.
It's like a Doomblade Dismember mix.
Yeah, it's awesome. Plus, everybody forgot Force of Will. You have to pay that 1 life. So there's a lot of like just random,
cool tricks.
Ceremonious Rejection in the sideboard. Yeah, we're not in Modern, guys.
That deck is that card, I should say, is real deal, and I think that it is silently one of the better cards to come out of Kaladesh. And I think it's going to be a card that sticks around the sideboard of a lot of decks for a long time.
Pick up your foils.
Yeah, I already bought. I was so on it a couple weeks ago when we were at a tournament. I saw Seth pick up a couple foil ones. I bought my playset of foils. I just wanted to have them. That card is legit.
Yeah, I definitely think it is.
And for anybody who's wondering what the F we're talking about, Ceremonious Rejection is 1 blue counter target colorless spell. I mean, it's just simple.
Some of the best spells in the world are colorless.
Yeah, it's all those cards that say Devoid on it. Guess what? They're colorless.
We're going to number 3 with Andrew Hampton. We're playing lands. Let's look at see anything different. He's got a Horizon Canopy in here. He's playing 3 ports, 1 Ghost Quarter. So he's not quite as many people on this Jody train, but I think I'm on Jody's train. He is playing a full 4 Punishing Fires, which is kind of a lot to me. And other than that, it's pretty stock. Song of the Dryad, so that's in his sideboard. It's 3 mana, enchant permanent. Enchant permanent is a colorless forest land.
Yeah.
Maybe that gets around some Blood Moons. It's probably got some tricky stuff. In 4th, so I got it, kind of. Black-Green Depths. Evan Nyquist. Black-Green Depths is a Turbo Depths deck. You're playing fast mana, Elvish Spirit Guide, Sylvan Safekeeper, Vampire Hexmage, Expedition Maps, Lotus Petals, Pithy Needles to stop their wastelands. You're not playing Wasteland because you're playing Dark Depths, Urborg, and Thespian Stage. And your whole goal is to just pop out a 2020 Merit Lage as fast as possible. You're literally doing everything you can to find it. Sylvan Library in the main deck, bunch of surgical extractions on the side, 1 Tabernacle on the side. That's pretty spicy, but you don't have to have that. This is actually not the most expensive legacy deck. If you wanted to go, like if you were wanting to build a very competitive, very fun, very fast, deck with that cool combo element, this is one that you could start working towards, and wouldn't be bad. He's also playing the 1 Ghost Quarter because he can't play Wastelands because his Pithy Needle has to name Wasteland. And Pithy Needle is just one of the best cards, sideboard cards ever. And the fact that you get to play 3 main deck is awesome. Storm, finally an actual combo deck. Storm by Tyler Hatchell is in 5th. This is Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Guys, we'll do like a deck tech on like some Storm stuff. We're not really going to tell you how Storm works if you don't know, but Storm is a really fun deck. Watch somebody play it online. It's really cool if you don't know it, but congratulations, Tyler, followed by Caleb, the Storm Master.
The Storm.
Obviously, you guys know who Caleb Shear is. He also was playing Storm and took 6th place. And his list is his list. It's got the Dark Petition in it.
Love it.
14 lands, nothing.
Do you think he runs his token when he plays it?
He's got to. Grixis Delver comes in at 7th. This is the only thing different about this is it's running 1 Snapcaster. This is on 2 Cabal Therapies, and that's,
I'm not so hot on the Snapcaster as the one of. I'm not sure that I would pick it over a True Name Nemesis. I mean, I think that if you drew it in the right circumstances, it's probably really good. But I think I'd rather have the True Name Nemesis in there.
Yeah, because you're still trying to be sleek and efficient, and having 3 mana up is not always a thing. Snapcaster is really good in the Leovold deck, the 4-color control deck. But,
absolutely.
But you're running 25 lands in that, and this one you're only running 18, and 4 of them are basically spells in Wasteland.
Yeah.
Sneak and Show, another 3 of, except this time he's running the full 4 Show and Tells. But the Cunning Wish, Omniscience. Good job, Kyle Forbes. And as a lands player, I hate going against this deck because they play Blood Moon in the sideboard, and they also can just put out a turn 1 Gristlebrand or Emrakul. Mm-hmm. And I can't. I can make a 2020 Merit Lage.
Got him.
In 9th through 16th, Red Black Reanimator, Sneak and Show, UR Delver, Colorless Eldrazi, Grixis Delver, 2 copies of lands, and Grixis Pyromancer. Kind of the decks that you explained to see, but I will say this: it looks like a healthy format. Lands. I'm really surprised how many lands players are, or how many lands are coming up.
Yeah.
Let's move over to the Modern Classic.
Number 1, Tribal Zoo.
Yo. So this deck is tight.
Dope.
I play Bushwhacker Zoo. It is being ported into this because I also play. I play Amulet Titan and I play Grixis Death Shadow, but I would much rather mix my Grixis Death Shadow with my Bushwhacker Zoo and make this Death Shadow Zoo guide. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read them off the list, dude.
The list is super good. I mean, it's real good. 4 Death Shadow, 3 Goblin Guide, 4 Swift Spear, 4 Street Wraith, 4 Goy, 4 Nikado. I love that creature package.
So sick.
I think it's awesome. The spells, the first spell I'm going to say might catch you off guard. Griff's Boon.
Awesome.
Raise your hand if you know what that does.
Oh, you remember from the Tom Ross special, whenever you were losing to it in standard on the white guys.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this just pops out of nowhere.
1 drop enchant creature, gets +1/+0 and has flying. And for 4, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, attached to target creature. Just real good. And then he's got the Boros Charm, Dismember, Lightning Bolt, Might of Alara.
Yeah,
that card,
+5, basically.
That card is going to be amazing. Pick up your foils. They're 50 cents, people.
Also, the Claim to Fame is in here. Claim to Fame is the split card I've been talking about that I thought would be in some of these Grixis lists, but apparently isn't. But in this list, is perfect. Return target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Fame, Aftermath side, 1 and a red. Target creature gains haste and +2/+0. Yeah, I'm going to get you at the end of that turn. Plus, the sideboard's tight because you get to play like Pyroclasm because most of your stuff survives it. Mm-hmm. Rise and Fall, Collective Brutality, 3 Thalias, 1 Gaddock Teague, 2 Stony Silences, 3 Grafdigger's Cages, and you get a suite full of all kinds of lands. I mean, I bet sequencing in this deck is pretty hard, but if you took the time, to do it right, like if you took the time to learn this deck, it's probably one of the best aggro decks ever. So, Daniel Keegans, you're the man. You're the man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, Daniel. I hope you're listening. In second place, Alex Vest with
Affinity.
Yeah, Affinity's here.
I think everybody knew this was coming. I mean, pretty stock list.
God, they just won't stop putting up. I mean,
just awesome results.
Yeah. I really thought it would be hated out by this point, but
you would think so.
This has got.
He's not running the welding jar. The welding jar has always been a card that I'm not so hot on. This is the red version with the 4 Galvanic Blast.
And Edge Champion is in the side. I mean, he's really going aggro. He doesn't care about stopping you 3 Edge Champion in the side and the whole 4 Masters.
Of Ethereum.
Summer Denial on the side, 2 Ancient Grudges, a Whip Flare, 2 Thought Seizes. Yeah, cool deck. I mean, Affinity will get you. It won't get Nate's new deck, the Jeskai Control, but apparently it did somewhere. Because in 5th, J.D. Umberson was playing Jeskai Control. But we don't want to skip 3rd, which is another cool deck.
Grixis Delver.
Delver of Secrets. You made it, boy. No, we're not looking at the Legacy ones anymore. This is Modern, right?
Modern Delver. I can't believe I said that.
That's 4 Delvers in this deck.
Are we sure we're in this?
There's 4 Delvers in this deck.
I love this deck.
There's no Death Shadows.
No Death Shadows.
What?
I bet he caught a lot of people off guard playing his first turn, and everybody go, "Oh, great, I'm playing Grixis Death Shadow," and then he puts down Delver of Secrets, Young Pyromancer, and they go, "Wow, this guy out of control."
Oh man, 2 Remands, 2 Smell Stairs, 3 Terminates, some Thought Scours, some Inquisitions, some Serum Visions. Yeah, you know it. All the good spells. 3 Mana Leaks. This is 2 Call Against Man. This is a sweet deck, man. Sweet deck. Congratulations, Troy Smith. I don't see anything else too crazy in the sideboard. All right, black-green mid-range, Saul Malka. So this guy's just been showing up again.
Yeah.
And all he plays is black-green mid-range.
Yeah.
And he just keeps
winning
doing well. So Saul, I love Dark Confidant, and why are more people not playing it?
It seems that he's dropped off since Jun, traditional Jun kind of stopped being a thing, but the card is so good.
Man, I think it is an underplayed card.
Yeah, right now it is. I never thought we'd be saying that.
Right.
If you missed the train, though, he has spiked in price.
Regardless
of
too good.
regardless of being not played as much.
What a beast this guy is.
Yeah.
Now this is just like a straight up green block. I mean, this might as well be Jund.
The Rock.
You know, this is the Rock, and it's like not Kid Rock. This is like straight up Dwayne Johnson Rock.
Yeah, the good Rock.
Yeah. No, I don't know, dude. Kid Rock is pretty awesome. Have you ever seen him live? If you guys get a chance to see Kid Rock live, go see it. It's pretty fun.
He's going to become mayor or governor or something in Detroit real soon. So.
Probably. Better be. All right. Jeskai Control with J.D. Umberson.
J.D. Umberson. Congrats. This is another Spell Queller deck 4 in the main.
Oh, dude. Are you playing Vendilion Click?
He's got the one. I run the one Vendilion Click main too. It's just the 5th one.
This looks like just like your deck.
Yeah, this is
do you
pretty
play
much
Supreme Verdict?
What I do not play the Supreme Verdict. That's my Sphinx's Rev slot.
I kind of like the Supreme Verdict, to be completely honest.
I do. It is a nice thing to have. I'm not sure that I would cut it over the Sphinx's Rev, but maybe that third Logic Knot he has could be a Sphinx's Rev.
I honestly think you guys are playing too many. I mean, what am I going to say? I'm not necessarily a control player, but I feel like 4 Cryptic Commands. Cryptic Command is just kind of slow. I mean, once you get them on that lock, I get it. But why not cut 1 Cryptic Command, go to 3 or
Cryptic's
something?
pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're bouncing stuff and, drawing cards and tapping creatures,
yeah,
it just gets
slow.
out of control.
But, I mean, I get it. I get what you're doing. I kind of like taking out one of your Cryptics and putting it in Supreme Verdict, but he wanted both.
Yeah, we'll put it on camera and see what happens. It's got to be good, right? I mean, it can't be too bad.
Yeah, but you know what? The 6th place was like, screw your Colonnades, dude. I'm going to blow them up with Red Green Ponza.
Did you see this deck? This deck is insane. I love this deck.
Dude, you would love this deck.
I think
I like
great.
this deck more than your Blood Moon deck. This is cool. Stone Rains, gotcha. Acid Moss, gotcha. Bonfire of the Damned and Blood Moons, Utopia Sprawl. I'm just going to blow everything up. Cast my Stormbred Dragons, who is got to be one of the best dragon arts of all time. Cast my Inferno Titans. I'm going to blow fire all over your face. And Acid Slime, dude. Acidic Slime. He's got so much acid in this deck. So much acid. Fracturing Gus. Yeah, get out of here, you punks. Anger of the Gods. Sudden Shock. Don't see that much anymore, but it's really good against that combo.
I invested in 2 foil Sudden Shocks just when the combo deck was coming out.
Yeah.
You just have to have it or you get blown out real easy. The thing I love about this deck, though, is it's got its classic Red-Green Ponza, Utopia Sprawl into Blood Moon, into Stone Rain, into Acid Moss, and that's the cool part. But it also just has the awesome ramp into the red creatures and Thragtusk side to it. And I think that a lot of decks that I've seen lately on this Red-Green Ponza haven't had that nice top end. You see the Inferno Titans, but you don't hardly ever see the Wormcoil Engine and a Thragtusk and Thrun the Last Troll.
I think the Wormcoil is really good.
The best card in this deck, as far as synergy, might just be Chandra, though.
Yeah, well,
I mean you're flipping over every card you got.
We realize that she's just a good planeswalker. Is she the best Chandra?
It's close. I mean,
Her name's fun to say.
She's
Chandra.
real good, and I really want. And listeners, I don't know if you have seen these yet, but oh my god. The San Diego Comic-Con promos.
Are those going on sale yet? They're already on. It's already over, right?
Yeah, it's over. They're on sale. If you'd like to mail me to Chandra Torch of Defiance, I would be extremely grateful. I might just have to buy them on Friday. They are super dope. All of them are really dope. I like all of the arts.
I don't think we have any fans that are that dedicated yet, and in almost 4 episodes now, to just mail us some of the most hard to get. You know what we should be doing, though? We should find something to do a pretty sweet giveaway soon. We might think about that by the end of this episode. We're thinking of something to give away for those new followers that we get next week on Twitter or throughout the week, and we're going to give something away Friday. So every new follower on Twitter is going to be entered to win something cool. A Chandra.
Yeah, let's do it.
Not a Plains, not the San Diego Comic-Con one, but any new follower we get throughout this week. By the end of the Pro Tour, we will announce
a winner
of you're going to get a Chandra. Since we've been talking about her a lot and she's really good and we appreciate you guys and we'd love the support and conversation on Twitter. But let's get back into the decks because Lucas Michaels came in 7th place with Affinity. This is a normal Affinity list. I can't
let's not listen.
Okay.
Congrats on Lucas Michaels. You did a great job piling it to 7th. The deck's got to be super hard to sludge through some of those
God, there was a lot of hate in
weird
this
modern
top 8.
decks. Yeah, let's talk about deck number 8 though.
Ty,
Kevin
you
Burgess.
listen up. I'm gonna pour myself another glass of wine.
Hell yeah, wino. Kevin Burgess, grass to you. You White Control. It's a deck I've thought about putting together. I love red too much. I think red gives you a lot of valuable options. But if I were to ever go Blue White Control, this is what I want. 2 snaps, 2 Wall of Omens. That's a nice creature combo after you hear what we're talking about next. 1 Gideon Jura. He's won me many a games. 2 Gideon of the Trials. Love it. So not only do you have to go through all of the control and all of that, if a Gideon of the Trials gets down emblems and then you play Big Daddy Gideon, it's hard to come back. I mean, he could be out there forever.
I hate Big Daddy Gideon.
Yeah, it's a rough one, but he's also got 4 Spreading Seas, 3 Supreme Verdicts, 1 Sphinx's Rev, 4 Path to Exile. I mean, it's just on and on.
That one thing twice back there from Innistrad Standard.
No, I think that's great. I'm going to order me a foil one right now.
Gotta go. Oh, right this second.
Just right this second.
He's doing it. He's doing it. Okay, 1 negate main. Yep, that was it. Let's look at the 9 through 16 real fast. We won't go over them, but we will say that Counters Company finally, again, just cannot get the top 8, but they keep popping right there.
It's just hard. I think it's hard for Counters Company to get through all of the removal.
2. Amulet Titan, there we go. There was another deck I called. Let's see what their version is. So I just changed mine to basically this, is that you got to run Grove of the Burn Willows now, and I really like it. Walking Ballista, he's running 4 Azuzas, Amulet of Vigor, Engineer Explosives, obviously, the namesakes, but 2 Relics. I got to run the main deck Relics now. I wasn't doing that before. And he's got 1 Hive Mind in there. I like it. I like the one going back to the 1 Hive Mind. And you know what else is coming in? I have to buy a foil now of this Chameleon Colossus, and I hate it. I don't want to buy one because they're expensive.
The Chameleon Colossus? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could go the real cheap route and get the From the Vault for 99 cents.
Yeah, I love this deck so much that, like, this one card in the deck so much that I kind of just want to play it main because it's really the only... Every time I play the deck, I just want to cast this card. Rurik Thar, the 2-headed ogre giant warrior homie with the hook hand, and he's coming for your kids. Rurik Thar, dude, he's so awesome. I just want to play with that card. We should just put him main. Okay, so 2 copies of Elves, Burn, Lantern Control by Brock Logan, Mardu Reanimator. Oh, Humans Company deck. We are going to look at this Mardu Reanimator deck just to see. Okay. Look at this, guys. Hey, pull this up on Star City if you want. Bedlam Reveler. Discard your hand. Draw 3. That's kind of cool. That helps in a Reanimator strategy. 1 Elsnorm, 1 Grizzlebrand, 1 Iona, 2 Lily of the Veil, 2 Nahiri. Collective Brutalities, which I feel like are making all Reanimator strategies better. Lingering Souls, and Unburial Rites. This deck looks really cool. Mm-hmm. I've never seen any deck like this.
Yeah. It's a fun deck. I like the fact that he has Nahiri in there to try. It's another way to get some of your fatties out. I like the Bedlam Reveler. I like everything he's got going on. 2 Tormenting Voices in there. I think that card's real good.
I wonder if you could run this deck and then start playing Hollowed One or something like instead of the 4, like in your sideboard in case you need like some early blockers because you're doing so much discard. You've got like, your Tormenting Voices, your Faithless Ludians and all this stuff that you're casting at 4/4 for like no mana. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe just an idea. 1 Damnation in the main deck. All right, man. That is our standard, or that is our modern top 16. We are looking at the last one, which is going to bring us into our Pro Tour predictions and our closing statements. Standard. Nate?
Mono red aggro. I mean, it's everywhere. Coming up first.
Is it the deck? Are we sure this isn't the... Yep, mono red. Travis Ryder with mono red aggro.
I like this one. Not as much as the Tom Ross version. I think that one's just faster. This one has the 4 Cartouche of Zeals. I don't mind that card. I think that...
Dude, it's pretty good when you play against it.
It's pretty good. I'm not sure that this is the right avenue he wanted to be in. But I mean,
he got first. So.
He did get first, yeah.
So it probably is the right one he wanted to go into.
It's the right route he wanted to go into.
I do like Collective Defiance.
I'd be interested.
And the 4 flows. I like the burn, the reach of it.
Yeah, I'd be interesting to hear how well the cartouches did for him as far as, tournament play and whether or not he was happy with the full set of 4. the one Abrade in this deck too. I mean, maybe that's the number. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I guess so, because he did beat a Monument deck piloted by Jonathan Rosum,
Yep.
who won the last event. No, Jonathan didn't. He got second again.
He got second again.
Oh, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Jonathan, I'm sorry, buddy. No, wait, who won? Yeah, he did get second on the last one. This is his same list from last week, except he changed a couple of things. He added, what is this? Sunscourge Champion, which is a 2/3 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to its power, and it's got Eternalize. I'm assuming that's because he's been playing against a ton of mono red.
Yeah.
And that's an early gain some life, put a blocker down, and then internalize it, gain 4 life.
Yep.
And he also added a Jason Raveler of Secrets, which wasn't in his prior list. But you white monument, I'm totally into it. I think that deck is really cool. Patrick Paris with green red ramp. We talked about ramp. I think ramp is super cool. He is playing an Ishkana. It's basically the same list, except he's running 3 Sweltering Suns as well. But that Chandra, like you said, just it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's a good one.
Mono black zombies.
It's a good one to talk about. We haven't talked about this yet. I think it's really good. It's still around, guys. You still have to be a little bit worried about this deck. It can really pop up and get you if you're not pretty prepared for it.
There's just so many. This is not mono black.
This is not mono black.
This is mislabeled, because this is the zombies that I actually thought that could be a thing.
Yeah, this is blue
Scarab
black zombies.
God and Jissa.
Sorry, Dustin
and
Thornton.
Giralf. Dustin Thornton. I think you picked the right move here. So instead of running your metallic mimics, you get Jissa and Giraffe and the Scarab God, which just do gross things.
Yeah.
They give you a little bit of extra top end with your Liliana's Mastery. He's got Scrap Heap Scroungers on the side for recursion against the control decks. Mm-hmm. And when they board out their braids, well, they probably don't, but he's got the extra thing. He's got 2 Skyship Sovereign Console flagships on the side, and Ob Nixilis. This list is tight. I think if I'm going to play zombies at this point, I'm definitely playing blue black. The Scarab God is just fat. He just fly.
Yeah.
So good job on you. Here comes a control list, though.
You read control, which is actually Grixis control. Who knew?
It's not really, though.
It's kinda.
It's literally blue-white control or blue-red control, but it's splashing just Nicol Bolas.
Well, it's a good splash.
And one of.
I really like Nicol Bolas. I think he's great. I think this hour is good. I think we've talked about before, Supreme Will. I mean, it could be...
Supreme Will's really doing
real good. But it's all your counters. It's 1 Nicol Bolas. It's 4 Gearhulks. I love this list. The sideboard, I like. It's got a Dragon Master Outcast. I really dig that. And it's got its fatties, Sphinx of the Final Wind, Nicol Bolas, you know.
I've got... here's a card that I think is going to be very important coming up in the sideboard. Crook of Condemnation.
Yeah, he's got 2 already.
relics. Yeah. This card I think is going to be really important. We'll talk about it more when we get to the 7th place list and what we talked about before. But also, here's a weird thing about this deck, guys. 3 Glimmer of Genius, 4 Hieroglyphic Illumination. They do the same thing, except Glimmer lets you scry 2 and gives you energy. Mm-hmm. Hieroglyphic has cycling for 1 blue. Mm-hmm. I wonder what the choice, like why he decided to go with the early cycler before.
It's got to be because it's faster.
So he has basically extra, I think it's got to be just the cycling.
Yeah, it's just faster.
And it gives him more copies of Glimmer, but these ones he can get rid of if he doesn't need them.
Yeah, it's the cycling for 1 mana trying to find your answer.
Or finding lands, because he's only running 25.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's just a...
My only worry is the concession is that he's only running 7 lands that could cast Nicol Bolas.
Yeah.
And Nicol Bolas is only 1 black, but but he's got 1 Canyon, 1 Fetid Pools, and 1 Sunken Hollow, and then the 4 Aether Hubs. So the only thing that makes energy besides the Aether Hubs in this deck is
Glimmer.
Does he not even have? Oh no, he's got Harness Lightning. So he's got, but you're gonna want to use that.
Yeah, Harness Lightning I think is too valuable not to use the energy for when you play it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I think if you just don't use your energy on your Aether hubs, you're fine. I mean, Glimmer gives you 2. It comes out with 1. I mean, you're not going to be in a too much of a stretch to play a blue or a red card. I'm sure there are disadvantages to it, but
You know what's a good sideboard card right now?
what's that?
Chandra's Defeat.
Oh yeah, for sure. One drop.
5 damage to target creature or red planeswalker, and if it's a Chandra, you get a rummage.
Yeah.
That's a good card right now because there's a lot of glory bringers and Chandras running around.
Yeah. 6th place, mono black zombies, a true mono black.
This one's actually
mono black.
I just want to say this guy's name, Glenn DiGirolamo. DiGiorno.
DiGiorno. That's not how you spell it. There's
Sorry.
no N in there.
Yeah, well.
DiGiorno.
Glenn,
Congrats on the piloting. I mean, not a hard deck to pilot in a field that's dominated by a lot of bigger decks that can top out doing better things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play a Relentless Dead and they can play a Nicol Bolas.
Sorry, Glenn, though. Your deck fell right before the deck I really want to talk about. So on Friday, we put out a podcast talking about the God Pharaoh's Gift.
I think we called this.
And right after that cast, I have been seeing nothing but hype on this deck.
Yeah.
I really think we were right in the fact that there's a secret deck going around. Right after that, I saw that it won a PTQ online. It was this exact same list. I have been playing it online now. It's super awesome.
And we had a lot of the things right. I mean, the cards that we were calling out for cards that could be in this blue-white kind of deck, we hit a lot of them. I mean, Angel of Invention, Champion of Wits, you know what I mean? The Thraben Inspectors, the Refurbish, the Gift, the Afterlife. We didn't call the Gear Hulk.
No, and the Gear Hulk is a great include.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't really know how much that they would want to put into that. I guess it's another top end finisher that's just great.
Well, we were
when
just
it comes
discussing
in.
ways you could build it too. We didn't give a full deck list really. We were just talking about certain things, but I think they found it. And Olivetti won the PTQ on Magic Online, and then Andrew Lucas piloted it to a 7th place finish at the Classic. This deck is super sweet, guys.
Yeah.
I really want to play it. Like I am playing it, but I really want to film a league with it and really take it out and give it a good run. I think when we get into Pro Tour predictions, I definitely think it's going to be a hot deck. But
And
seeing the sideboard right here,
we're
Critical
keeping a
Condemnation.
lot of this stuff too. I mean, it's not like a lot of this stuff's going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
We're losing a little bit, but not. If you wanted to invest in it, investing's not so bad. I mean, Thraben Inspector isn't back-breaking to lose. Neither is Mausoleum Wanderer. I mean, some of your early drops, yes, but I'm sure that we'll have other great
But your
one drops to
engine
replace
is still
them.
here.
Yeah,
Your
the engine
engine's
is still there. It's going to be good.
Yeah, Void Winnower is in the sideboard. Do you guys remember what Void Winnower does? This is such a cool card. 9-drop Eldrazi. Your opponent can't cast spells with even converted mana costs. 0 or more, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana costs. So weird, but very cool. A bunch of dispels to stop those blue-red counter decks. Some things to remove artifacts and etc. And a Linvala to gain some life. I think this deck is actually really good, and I plan on seeing it more. In 8th, we got UR Control.
It's just it's the
Blue-red
same control.
It's like I said, if you've been playing on Magic Online, you've been playing against blue-red control, and you've been playing against mono-red aggro.
And this one is not Nicol Bolas. It's a true blue-red. Still good. Sweltering Suns is a good card. We all know it.
Let's see. In the other top, man, I kind of want to get into our Pro Tour talk, but I will say this. There's a 5-color Planeswalkers deck. There's green-red Pummeler. I mean, if you guys are listening to us strictly for Standard, I'm sorry, but we're about to talk a lot of Standard for the Pro Tour. And the Pummeler deck's pretty cool. The fact that is still around. The fling and make my Pummeler huge. But for the most part, definitely the big story in Standard is blue-red control, white-blue
Monument. Mono red.
Well, not even Monument right now. Monument isn't hardly even on this list except for the same pilot.
Yeah.
But the God's Pharaoh's Gift and
Mono red.
Yeah, Mono Red's a real thing. All right.
Pro Tour.
Man, talk about it. We just went through a journey together, guys. Thank you for sticking with us on all those deck lists. Let us know which ones that you like the most or what you would play. But it's time to break down this Pro Tour. It's Pro Tour time.
Pro Tour.
Pro Tour time. So the Pro Tour is happening in Kyoto, Japan. It is split format, draft and then standard. I think oh man, Japan. Big time difference there. Pretty sure it starts Thursday at midnight. Yeah.
So get your popcorn, and hopefully you don't work on Friday, so you can watch some of the Pro Tour.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. I actually have a show on Friday, too, so I'm missing like the second half of it.
But I think we're going to try and pod this weekend, though.
We are going to pod this weekend during the Pro Tour, and that's when we might do the giveaway.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a little game here. Pro Tour predictions game. And we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen. We might talk about, I don't know, pick a pro. Maybe not even pick a pro. Maybe just you guys help us, too. If you're tweeting at us, if you join up for this Win a Chandra giveaway.
Win a Chandra!
With your Pro Tour predictions. And what you have to do is you have to tweet at us. All right, here's the game. Nate, what do you think about this? We're going to win a Chandra. You have to follow us within the next week. Followers who already follow us, you guys will be eligible to win as well. You have to tweet at us your Pro Tour predictions. You can pick one of these categories. Most played card. Let's go. Let's do most played. How are we going to do this? Most played creature. Most played instant. Most played sorcery. And most played artifact. Just those?
Yeah, just those. That sounds good.
Oh, why don't we have most played planeswalker?
Ooh, that's a good one, too. I mean, that's going to be a breakdown of... Oh, there's a lot of them. You could do Chandra, Nahiri.
Well, they're winning a Chandra, so...
Nicol Bolas.
All right. So, most played creature, instant... We'll go instant / sorcery. So, either one, spell. Most played artifact and most played planeswalker. Also, feel free to tweet at us if you have any bold predictions on decks. What deck you think is actually going to win the whole thing. And let's go, Nate. What do you think? Bold prediction on most played creature.
Most played creature. Torrential Gearhulk. That's the most played creature we're going to see.
Okay. Nate is coming in hot with the Torrential Gearhulk. And your reasoning?
I think the control is in a decent spot. I think it's a deck that could be very popular because it fights other decks on avenues.
And pros love.
And pros love control. I mean, it's a very skill intensive. It's very draining on the body if you're not used to that kind of play style. Most control decks are running 4 Torrential Gearhulks. I think that's it. I think that Torrential Gearhulk's got to be one of the most played creatures, if not the most played, and that's my prediction to go all the way.
Okay. I am going to pick... Ooh. Man, this is kind of hard. There's like part of me that just wants to go with Earthshaker Kenra.
That's not a bad pick.
It's not, but I'm going to go with something a little different. Champion of Wits.
Ooh.
I'm going with Champion of Wits.
Spicy.
I think there's going to be maybe more than one deck that breaks out using this card.
Multiple brews.
Champion of Wits is going to be my most played creature in the top.
Okay. I see you.
Next, instant or sorcery.
This one's a little hard, and I think that you would just be foolish not to take the obvious answer.
What's that?
And I don't want to tell you what the obvious answer is to let our listeners have the obvious answer. So I'm going to try and pick something a little bit different. I kind of want to go with where you're at. I think it's going to be refurbish. I think the deck's had a lot of breakout.
That's a serious.
I think that it's my breakout card. For those that didn't listen to our Friday podcast or don't know what the card is, refurbish is 1 white, 3 generic, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. The card's great when bringing back God Pharaoh's Gift. And I think that card could be really good and really played. If not that, though, I want to go with Supreme Will. So one of those two. I'm going to take a halfsies.
Get 2 picks.
I'm taking a halfsies.
All right. Well, I'm going to hedge my bets because I still think that Mono Red might be I honestly think Mono Red might be the most played deck at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a Braid because out of the sideboard and in the main deck, especially if this Champion of Wits slash Godfarrow's Gift is doing well, people are going to be playing a Braid. So I'm going to go with a 4 of a Braid in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
In the total 75.
Yeah.
All right, most played Artifact.
Well, Artifact's kind of a hard one. You got to find something that's in, a little bit of everything. But just in case Blue-White Monument is out there, it's got to be a Catcher's Monument. It's got to be what it is. I think that card is the engine to the deck. It runs 4 of them. Blue-White Monument could have a breakout Pro Tour, and that's where it's at. I know a lot of pros are also hot on this deck. They've been playing it since the beginning, so maybe they'll go back to it. Maybe that's why we didn't see a lot of it last weekend. Everybody's kind of holding back on it,
All right, I'm going to go with something for people prepping also against Champion of Wits refurbished deck or Gate to the Afterlife God Pharaoh. Instead of going with Gate to the Afterlife or God Pharaoh, I'm saying everybody's going to be packing Crook of Condemnation in their sideboard.
Yeah, that card's great. I mean,
now it's definitely not a 4-0, so that may be a kind of a, I don't know for sure, but I'm going with that one. I'm going with Crook. Yeah. All right, the most played Planeswalker.
Well, I got to do it because I love her. It's Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Listen, guys, I've been playing Sun and Moon for a long time in Modern. A lot of people think that you went off the Nahiri Emrakul package most of your games, which is only slightly true. I tell you, Chandra has been the engine to get you to that point in the game more times than none. Cycling through my deck, trying to get to cards I need. She does a great job of also winning the game on her own. And as soon as you realize that she's your path to victory and you start protecting her and you ult her, I have played Chalice on 0. I have Lightning Helix. I have done everything for that 5 damage at the end. I've even Anger to the Gods and Wrath of God with no creatures out just to get the 5 damage. I mean, she just ends the game fast. And I think she's one of the best Planeswalkers in Standard right now.
I think you're probably right. I'm going to go with Gideon out of the sideboards of different decks.
Ally of Zendikar.
Yep.
But I mean, he's also good. I mean, Mardu Vehicles is still running him as a 4 of.
There's really no other deck I can think of, or Planeswalker I can think of. I mean, if Grixis or Blue-Red Control shows up, I honestly don't think that Godfair is so good that he... Yeah. And you would only play 1.
You'd only play 1.
All right, those are our picks, but we want to hear your picks, and we want to see those follows and likes, and, get at us, conversate with us. We want to talk to you, and I promise you, we will be giving away a Chandra to one lucky winner.
Somebody's getting a Chandra.
Somebody's getting a Chandra if you just follow us this week. Man, down to the very final one.
Mm-hmm. Who's going to win it?
Yeah, who's going to win? What prediction do you have? Bold prediction. Who's your underdog? Who's your horse in this race?
Well, if I'm picking a horse, you got to pick a winning horse. And you know who just won? The dapper Todd Stevens.
I don't even think Todd Stevens is at the Pro Tour, dude.
Well, he's still my pick.
You can't pick Todd Stevens that is not going to be playing in the Pro Tour.
Well, I wish he was.
Todd Stevens, this dude is obsessed with you, man. He's picking you, and you're not even on the tour yet.
Picking the Pro Tour is kind of hard. I mean, there's just so many good players there. I don't know. I don't have a pick.
You don't have a pick?
I don't have a pick.
No pick. No pick from him. He refuses to pick. I'm going to have to say I'm going to go with Martin Mueller. I'm going to go with he just had a really good limited run, which means that I know he knows his limited format, which is very important. Man, yeah. I'm going to go with Martin Mueller on this one. There's a lot of really good players that always have great. Li Xiqian, I think that he's always a person I root for. But yeah. I'm going Martin Mueller. Marty, Team Genesis. Don't let me down, buddy. Let's see this. He already had a good run last Pro Tour, and I think he can do it again. I think he's just a real good player.
Yeah.
All right, man. That is our picks for Pro Tour, our predictions, our excitement, a big deck talk. Like I said, we will be back later this week during the Pro Tour to, figure out who gets that Chandra. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we'll probably be doing another deck breakdown. We'll wait and see what some of the decks are coming at from this Pro Tour, or we might pick a different deck. If there's any deck you're interested in having a breakdown, a history of whatever, tweet at us, get with us, start talking to us on Twitter, and we promise we will do everything we can to answer questions you like. We could even start doing a question section. Request whatever, man. We really are just here because we love talking about Magic, and we hope you love listening to Magic, but it's a lot more fun when you feel like you can interact with the people. So from here in the studio of Tilted Pod, I'm Seth, that's Nate, and we out.
Peace.
Missing Hilly John, silent days are gone, remembering things just to tell them so long. Mama, acting like my life's already